Hi everyone, Rory Ritchie here, Vice President of Exploration for Prosper Gold Corp. Thanks to the Northern Miner for giving me the opportunity to present today. Prosper Gold is a mineral exploration company based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. We're listed on the TSX Venture Exchange under ticker symbol PGX. And we're currently targeting the next world-class gold discovery in Red Lake, Ontario, Canada. I will be making some forward-looking statements over the course of this presentation. Please keep that in mind. Our team is led by Peter Bernier. Pete founded Richfield Ventures in 2007, and in 2009, along with Dirk Templeman-Cluett, another director and advisor to Prosper, acquired the Blackwater-Davidson project in British Columbia, which ultimately was sold to New Gold in 2011 in a transaction valued at approximately $550 million. Our COO, James Hedallen, handles all things corporate finance and corporate compliance related. Myself, having lived in Red Lake, lived and worked in Red Lake in the past, bring relevant experience. Jason Hines and Jim Miller-Tate round out our board of directors. Jason is currently Vice President of Business Development and Strategy at Royal Gold, while Jim Miller-Tate is currently Vice President of Exploration for Imperial Metals. Sharon Lee, our diligent CFO. Our advisory board consists of Thomas Obradovich and Doug Cater, two gentlemen who have had a lot of success in the past, in particular in Ontario. Cap structure as it stands, $7.4 million in the treasury, 20.3 million shares issued and outstanding, 11.7 management ownership, largely led by Peter Bernier, and 19% institutional ownership, split more or less evenly between Plethora Precious Metals Fund, Sprott Global, and Crescat Capital. So we do feel very fortunate to have those groups as shareholders. Our flagship project, the Golden Sidewalk project, situated in the Red Lake District, 60 kilometers east of the municipality of Red Lake. It is widely considered the high-grade gold capital of the world, a fantastic world-class mining jurisdiction. 94% of the 30 million ounces of gold in the Red Lake camp were in close proximity to a regional unconformity. And I'll touch on the significance of that statement in the coming slides. Looking at the northern two-thirds of the project now, the project was acquired in mid-2020. The corner piece there was an option agreement with Sabina Gold and Silver, and some other 100% ground was acquired through third-party transactions. And now the consolidated land position is over 160 square kilometers. Most of the historical work was focused around the Bathurst mine. That was a past-producing high-grade gold mine in the 20s and 30s. And the vast majority of historical drilling has taken place up around the Bathurst mine. There is a lot of splashy gold, some high grade at surface, so certainly you can't blame historical operators. Prosper, when they acquired the project, had a different exploration concept in mind, really focused on being proximal to that unconformity and along a segment that is in a favorable orientation. And I'll get into the details of the Golden Corridor in the coming slides. We also came up with some other regional targets in 2020. The Skinner North, quite a compelling target, as well as the E12 anomaly and the Balmer Till anomaly. So those will get some follow-up work in 2021. But really the focus is the Golden Corridor at this point. Some targeting analogs before I get into the specifics of the Golden Corridor. Proximity to an unconformity. This is really rule number one in Red Lake. The unconformity shown in that red line on the image there is, in this instance, a crustal scale fault. So you want to be within proximity to that in the second and third order paralleling fault structures. That's what hosts the vast majority of gold mineralization in the Red Lake belt. Favorable regional structural trends, known as the mine trend in Red Lake, happens to align with the trend of the LP zone at Great Bear's Dixie project. That west-northwest trend is a relic of the D2 deformational event that is associated with the vast majority of gold mineralization in this area. So that west-northwest trend is important as well. Convexy contrast. This is a feature really ubiquitous in all Ontario gold systems. The idea being here, two rocks of different competencies juxtaposed against each other. And when greenstone belts are getting squeezed, one rock type is folding and bending while the other is breaking open, forming vein systems. You see this at the LP zone where the felsic volcanics are up against mafic volcanics. And you see it at the Red Lake Mine high-grade zone where you have ultramafic volcanics up against mafic volcanics. And in both instances, the more competent rock type is what's hosting the gold mineralization, or the majority thereof. Lastly, geophysical expressions that you want to look for when targeting significant gold systems. Lineaments indicative of magnetite destruction, so manifesting as magnetic lows, and resistivity high linears as well. Resistivity highs indicative of silica alteration and quartz veining. The magnetite lows associated with the carbonate alteration that envelops these gold deposits. These are all common criteria in the Red Lake District. We're just bringing them to the Golden Sidewalk project. So these are things we see at the Golden Corridor specifically. Proximity to a nonconformity and the favorable west-northwest structural trend, as mentioned, that was really our concept coming into the project. Composite contrast, in this part of the project, we see mafic volcanics sandwiched between ultramafics and gabbros. And the geophysical expressions we see line up nicely, resistivity high lineaments corresponding with magnetic destructive lineaments. And now this is all underpinned by a significant till anomaly, pristine gold grains and till outlined by Prosper in 2020. Realizing the potential of the Golden Corridor. To begin with, a 5+ kilometer prospective corridor based on the geology, geophysics, and really the orientation of that fault structure. And now this is supported by a 3,300 meter by 500 meter till anomaly. So quite compelling at this point, never been drilled. We'll look forward to drilling this in the spring of 2021. Some of the implications with till sampling, particularly for those not familiar with till sampling. The glaciers eroded bedrock, 15,000 years ago, and if there was any gold sticking out at surface, it would have been smeared across that bedrock overburden interface. So the implications in particular, one sample, UC13 at the eastern edge of the till anomaly outlined at the Golden Corridor, 882 grains, 110.8 grams per ton gold. So a lot of grains, and some of them are pretty sizable. Most of them are of decent size, and 100% pristine grains. That's really indicative of distance of transport. So it's telling us that the source is within 100 or 200 meters. Some of the implications of the morphology, size, and abundance of these grains. Certainly potential for a sizable deposit, given that it looks more like you've had a linear deposit transposed a couple hundred meters. And the size of the gold grains also suggests that this may be of the high-grade vein type source. Furthermore, gold mineralization is near surface. That's an assumption you can make based on the fact that the gold is derived from bedrock. As mentioned, the pristine grains. So there's an image, Stu Averill, who has really kind of wrote the book on till sampling, at least in Canada anyway. He, through empirical evidence over the years, he deduced that pristine grains are probably coming from a source less than 100 meters away. So as you can see, what I've outlined in the red box there looks a lot like what we're seeing in those pictures there in sample UC13. Stu did give us some third-party validation. He understands the significance of this till anomaly and appreciates it. I don't have time to read his quote, but it is there if you're interested. It is quite compelling. Timeline, as mentioned, mid-May, drilling commences. 10,000 meters proposed phase 1 program, assuming we have some luck. We will continue drilling probably right through winter if things go well. So please follow our story. It should be an exciting year, 2021. If you have any questions or concerns, you can get a hold of Peter Bernier at pete@prospergoldcorp.com, or myself, Rory Ritchie. My email is Rory, RORY, @prospergoldcorp.com. And thanks for your time.